Hello.
Welcome to the joy of coding.
Hello, and welcome to episode 28 of The Joy of Coding. We're so close to 30, just like me. So let's get started. I don't have anything for preamble. I never have anything for preamble. I'm not sure why I have this little space here, in case I have any big announcements, I guess. But now we'll go into quickly check out the agenda that I've got for today. Boom, today's agenda. So, I say this every time, but I'll say it for the new folks. If you scroll down, if you're watching this on Air Mozilla and you scroll down, there's like this little block of links and stuff. And there's some tabs, and at the top, one of them says additional links. And if you click on that, at the top of that list, there should be a link to this document. So you can follow along, click on the links, anything I've referred to. I'll be like expanding maybe and writing in this agenda as the episode progresses. Who knows? And so you might find it useful to click around in there as a shortcut. So today we're going to be working on a different, but I got this wrong. So I say no plan survives breakfast, and even when I do try to plan, sometimes I just get it flat out wrong. This is not the bug I wanted to work on today. I accidentally copied the wrong bug number and title. So the bug I want to work on today is actually this one, because I haven't done anything on it yet. So I'm going to update the agenda with the right stuff. So that's, copy this, and then in Evernote I will update the agenda and paste it in here. Now the notes should be correct. This should be pointing to like a blank. Yeah, that's the right document. They're empty. The notes for this bug are empty. So what is this bug? What are we going to be doing today? How are we going to do it? I don't actually know how we're going to be doing it. I'm going to kind of see if I can come up with a solution as we go. But I'll explain what the problem is. So if you've watched my previous episodes, or any of my previous episodes, you may have seen me mentioning kapows, cross-process object wrappers, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, back in the agenda, there's like a link to a blog post about what kapows are. I won't really go into detail about what they are or how they work, but suffice it to say that they allow synchronous access to things in web content that normally they're not even in the same process with E10S. And that can cause performance problems. So today is all about trying to get rid of some kapow usage. Kapows are great because they make things continue to work. They allowed us to like turn E10S on, even though a bunch of things weren't technically written to work with it. It was kind of like this nice transparent layer, this kapow layer. The problem with them though is that they're slow and they cause jank in the browser. So now that we have things kind of working, we can start like migrating things over to not using kapows, and that's good. And we know we're using a kapow whenever we get a kapow warning in the browser, in the browser console. And I'll show you what I am talking about. So this is the browser console. I brought that up with Command-Shift-J. There's also like I think if you go into like the menu and choose Developer, browser console should be one of the items in here. Yeah. So I opened the browser console, and I'm getting a lot of network stuff in here, and I don't care, so I'm going to turn off network. But what I do care about is this particular bug. So I don't know if you've ever noticed this, but if you go into like the menu, this is true for Windows, OS X, Linux, under View, there's like a page style item under View, and then you're able to like turn off style sheets and turn on style sheets. And there's also a lesser known like feature called alternative style sheets that Firefox supports. I think we're the only major browser to support this. I could be wrong about that. I know Chromium doesn't support it. I don't think Safari supports it. But basically what it is you can go to a website, and this is an example website, and the website can like list different style sheets that it has made available. And then from page style, you can choose which style you want to see. And that might be useful for some people if it's like a page could have a, I don't know, a high contrast theme or something, maybe. I don't know. And you can always just strip off all the styling, that sort of thing. So, notice that when I'm doing all of that, do I have E10S enabled here? I do. I'm technically using kapows, and I should be seeing kapow warnings in the browser console, except that I'm not. I don't exactly know why. It's possible that I have hidden all the warnings. Yeah, there it is. I turned off the warnings. So, unsaved kapow usage, and we'll see that more and more. Like every time I do this, here, if I keep the browser console on screen while I do this, and do this, you can see that if I go to View, Page Style, even just bringing up the pop-up causes us to do all these unsafe kapow usage warnings. And that's because when we populate the pop-up, we actually ask web content. We ask the stuff down here, which with E10S is running in a completely different process. We ask it, what kind of style sheets do you have, so that I can put them in my menu. So now we have to find a way of doing that without kapows. So let's get down to business. How are we going to solve this? So the problem is that I kind of know the region of code where the population of this menu occurs, but just so that you know how to look it up yourself, or how one would find out, here's what you do. This is the way I do it anyways. The string I'm looking for here is page style. That's going to help me find the menu item that I want. So I'm going to ask DXR about page style, and I'll find a translation for English, and I'm going to copy the label, and the label is what's used actually in the code to refer to that translation string. That way we can localize. And so here I can actually see the menu item that I can actually see the definition of that menu item in here. And here's the pop-up. This is the thing that always shows up, the pop-up whenever you open the page style menu. And there are two default menu items, which are like, I think this is default, and I think this is disable. Or basic page style, I guess. Basic. I don't actually know what that label is, but I'm going to guess this is for basic. Is what it says. Basic page style, yeah. And when the pop-up is showing, this event, when it's about to show, on pop-up showing is for when the menu is about to show. So that gives you an opportunity to like shove some stuff in it before it actually gets laid out. And G page style menu fill pop-up runs. So what's G page style menu? Well, we can ask DXR. And DXR says that it's been defined here in the browser.js file, which is like the main browser window file, like per browser window. There's one of these. And this is a pretty simple object. It's not very long. It has a very straightforward function, but let's see how it works. So every time the browser.js is executed, which means that once per browser window, so if I were to open up a new browser window, it's been executed right then. G page style menu, I believe, has init called on it after like when the page is being loaded. Like the browser window, not the web content, but like when the browser window layout our DOM is loaded, then we run gpage style menu init. And init, what it does is it gets the window message manager. So we'll be listening to any messages that come up out of this window, and we listen for one called page style set sync handler. And the way this works is down somewhere in the code base, we're going to be sending that message, and that happens in tab content. Tab content runs in the content process, and every time a new tab is loaded, actually, tab content is run in that content process for the particular tab. And what's happening is we add a message listener. I guess these are going to be coming down from the parent, but then we send a synchronous message back up to the parent, and we pass it a kapow, and the kapow is actually the page style handler itself. So we send this like cross-process object wrapper for the page style handler itself in a sync message, and then back up here, we set that to this weak map, and we map the browser's permanent key, which is like this object that we use to differentiate between browsers, and we map that to the kapow, the sync handler kapow. And so whenever the fill pop-up is called, a bunch of this stuff is, I'm not going to explain what it does, but suffice to say it like removes everything in the menu, and then it repopulates it based on the style sheets that we query the content process for. And here's how we query, is we do get style sheet info right here at the start for the selected browser. And get style sheet info will get the kapow that was put in here, and then we will call get style sheet info on it. So that's actually going to call into tab content, and get style sheet info is going to like this is what the parent is going to call, and it's going to say filter style sheets, which is going to go through it's going to filter style sheets of get all style sheets, and get all style sheets will get the content and go and get all of the document style sheets from it, and then also get all of the subframe style sheets. So it's going to recursively do that, and then pass that to filter style sheets. And filter style sheets will go through each style sheet, and if there's no title, we'll like a style sheet has to have a title, because a style sheet is something that's well defined. Like it's not just some object that the web page makes available. But like if I were to go to window or document style sheets for this here DXR page, there's an array of these CSS style sheet things, and these CSS style sheet things, like that's a web, that's a type, like a well-defined type. Or an interface, yeah, an interface, and it has these things available on it. Generic style sheet interface. So it has these things defined on it, and so that's what we're looking for in these filter style sheets, this filter style sheet call. So we check to see if it has a title, and if it doesn't, we skip it. We also skip any style sheets that don't match the screen media type. So for example, if there's a style sheet that only matches like for printing, if we're going to print, you can apply a certain style sheet only whenever the printing engine is like trying to do layout. If we're not currently printing, then we don't care about that style sheet, so we extract it. And for each of these style sheets, we the ones that pass these two tests, we push the title and whether or not it's disabled into this array, and then we return that array. And that is what we and here we take that array and we send that up to the parent along with some other information, and then the parent back up here in browser.js will take all of the stuff that was just passed up to us in that message, that sync message, because it's from a kapow, it's the result of a kapow, so it was a synchronous message, and then we will use it to populate the page style menu. And that's basically how it works. And it works, but it uses kapows. So the problem is that we're using a kapow to populate the menu pop-up via a sync handler defined in tab content.js. So there's an interesting problem here, and it's actually a consequence of the fact that Zool pop-ups were kind of designed to not be filled in on the fly, or at least no one ever considered the possibility that a menu pop-up might need to wait a while before we'd know what to fill it up with. What I mean by that is when a pop-up is about to open, you can't just, it's not the easiest or most built-in, there's no amazing way of telling a menu pop-up to hold on, let me go get some stuff asynchronously to populate you with, and when I'm done, we'll inject it into the menu pop-up. Unfortunately, that's the case. So what do? We have a couple of choices, in my mind anyways. One, see if there's a way that we can delay the opening of the pop-up until we can get an async message with some results, style sheet results back from the content. That is not an amazing solution. I would prefer not to do that. The other one is to anytime content has finished loading or notices a new style sheet has been added, it should inform the parent with a list of those style sheets which the parent can then cache. The parent can then synchronously access that cache when we attempt to open the pop-up. Other considerations. This is a really niche feature, and other browsers don't implement it, like Chromium, and I believe Safari? Let's see if Safari implements it. Actually, I'm curious. Style sheet. Let's see. So here's the example page, and I will load it up in Safari. And does Safari give me any kind of edit? Not really. I don't see it. Yeah, I don't think it's a thing. I do not think it's a thing that they make available. Okay. Don't seem to support it. Oh, I had another idea. We have some code that captures context menu clicks in the content process. Could we put the page style stuff in the context menu? I don't know about that. But this would mean we can use pre-existing infrastructure to send content data up to the parent. So this is a really niche. It's neat, I guess, but it's also a niche feature, and other browsers don't seem to support it. Do we really want to burn a whole lot of engineering time trying to make it work without kapows? That's a good question. it might be worth measuring how often this item is actually used. Yeah, I don't know what we can do about that. Like, about telemetry collects some information about menu items, or sorry, toolbar items that you've clicked, but like actual menu items, I don't think so. Um, like if I were to open all these up, burp, 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 burp. Oh, is it seeing me clicking on stuff? I, did you see a number change? I didn't see a number change. Hmm. Oh, well, I'm certainly cranking up the reload button stuff. I don't actually think that we seem to like, and there's documentation. I should be reading the UI telemetry documentation. Browser telemetry JS documentation. This is not what I meant. I meant UI telemetry browser. Maybe there's more in here. What is telemetry? I want like uh, the actual like information about browser UI telemetry, which I helped write, which is where, is there any documentation about it? I'm pretty certain there was. Browser UI telemetry. Document browser. Wow. Wow. Pretty certain I'd filed bugs about it, about documenting it. Write tests for it. Maybe. I don't think we ever really, like, except for the barest testing, I don't think we actually did much testing. Okay, one last quick check to see if I can find where the documentation is. I have not high hopes. Oh, it's right here. Where was it put? Browser docs UI telemetry. I see. Okay. UI telemetry sends its data as a JSON blob. This document describes different parts. Menu bar enabled, so we care about the menu bar. Countable events. Similar to being placed in one of the menu. Note this is not tracked in OS X where we can't listen for the events because of the global menu bar. So actually, what's interesting is we might actually be able to figure out on Windows and Linux how often the page style menu item is actually used. That is interesting. It looks like we collect clicks on page style menu and children for Linux and Windows. Might be worth investigating how often it is used. But for now, let's assume that we need to make it work. Let's see here. What are we gonna do? Which I think I want to investigate 2 the best, or the best. I want to investigate 2, because to me this is the most robust. This involves like completely changing the UI and stuffing more things into the context menu, which I think we need to be really careful about. And this one, yeah, this one sounds like it can go horribly wrong at times, because if you have to like prevent the menu pop-up from opening, send the request to the child, and then you're spinning the event loop, and the user could do any number of things in that time. And then the message comes back from the child with the list of style sheets, and then we have to open the pop-up, even though the user may have moved on. Like they might be, the content process may have been all blocked up, and so now the user's over here, and maybe they didn't even want to open up the page style menu, and now it suddenly opens for them, and you'd have to do like some checks to make sure the mount. Like there are problems with this approach, so I'm really more interested in this one if possible, if we can do it. So let's look at 2. Solution 2. Also, if you have additional ideas, I'm open. I have my ears are open. I'm in IRC, irc.mozilla.org, in the live hacking channel, and if you have any ideas, I'm happy to hear them. And we can bat some stuff around, because who knows? Maybe there's a really great solution out there that I have not thought of. So if you've thought of it, let me know. Okay, but in the meantime, we'll look at solution 2. So, in order for solution 2 to be possible, I need to do the following. 1. I need something per per frame, I guess. Per frame of each tab. Or I need some way of finding out when all frames on a page are done loading. All subframes. And then scan them for style sheets to send up to the parent. I need some way of detecting when a new style sheet has been added or when an old one has been removed. Now, I suspect that this is going to be the hard part. I think this should be pretty straightforward. I'm reasonably certain there are things I can listen for whenever all of a page and its subframes have finished loading. But it's this one. Detecting when a new style sheet has been added or when an old one has been removed. So there are some style sheet event notifications, but they're only fired when I know this, style sheet added. You'd think that like this would solve everything, the style sheet added event, but the problem is that you have to turn on the style sheet change events enabled. You have to like flip it on explicitly in order to have those events set to true on the document. And I have a feeling we don't normally want to do that. I have a feeling that that's going to be a performance problem. Like, why was this even added? Style sheet change events enabled. Let's find out. Let's find out when it was added. Cam, back in the day. 2013, not too far back in the day. Back in this bug, so Add to my notes is such a true in the document. That property, style sheet change events enabled, was added in that bug. So what is this bug? Provide notifications for style sheet added and removed to Chrome.js. That sounds like exactly what we want. For the DevTools style editor tool, hey, yeah, like DevTools probably needs to know this stuff. And they can't use Kapows, so maybe I could be looking at DevTools for this information. Actually, if it's easy to add some other of the events and as a document that we grant as well, we want style sheet added, removed, style rule added, style rule removed. No, DevTools doesn't need to be notified. Since the concerns about can't call JS now are not that relevant, we can just notify off an event. Right. And then Nathan Freud writes some stuff. Someone inserts 50 rules. Should we send? Seems like we shouldn't send hey rule insert. You figure out which. It doesn't seem that friendly to say that rule is added or removed without saying which rule. B would be best. Sorry, I'm probably leaning kind of out of frame. So I'm saying. So if DevTools is using this stuff, nothing suitable jumps out from Backchannel often about new and header. Is that about workable for DevTools? So you wouldn't receive these events unless you flip ref? Does it take effect immediately? You turn it on when the DevTools window is open. Yeah, the events wouldn't be sent unless the pref flipping would take effect immediately. So if the pref is flipped appropriately when the DevTools won't come out, we start sending these events. A pref is not the right mechanism to use since it doesn't make sense for the user to be able to set it from about config. Bohr suggested making this per document and having a flag on the document to indicate that whether style sheet change events should be dispatched. So then now we can so yeah, we regressed. There was a performance regression, and that's why they wanted to not always hear about all those style sheet change events. Okay. Okay. So that was the problem. And I don't know if there's anything useful we can leverage from that, because like what we want to do is hear about all of the style sheets. That kind of puts us in a pickle. This puts us in a bit of a pickle because if there is indeed a performance regression when firing these events, performance when firing these events, which necessitated only flipping it on for the documents that DevTools cares about, well, then I guess we can't just go and flip it on for every document. Probably wouldn't want to anyways. So let's hear more about this regression. Um, this regressed Dromeo a couple percent. And how bad was the regression? Oh, this is, the data's not in there anymore. So, a couple things we can do. One, spin a try build with the events style sheet, events always firing, and see if there are any notable regressions in Dromeo. And where else was there a regression? TP5, TP5, and TP5. These are both Talos tests. So we can do that. That's an easy thing we can check, because if they don't regress, if for some reason, you know, style rule parsing something has changed in the tree, because this was back, when did this happen? 2013. This is 2 years ago. Things have changed, you know, geckos change, so maybe things are better now, and we can have these on for every document. So we should find out. So let's do that right now. What's something quick and dirty? Let's just have where was it? In 7, allow style sheet events to be controlled through style sheet change events enabled. The other thing I noticed was that, like, it's only this test that does stuff with it. If DevTools was like, if DevTools expected to hear about these things, it's not doing it right because it's not flipped these on. So maybe DevTools has found some alternative solution, and maybe I can find out what that is. Style sheet. Whoa, okay. These are tests. Style inspector, that's probably where it would be. Or style editor. Style sheet editor. New style sheet. Interesting. Okay, can I grep that for add event listener? Oh, whoops. Grep. Nope. Maybe they use something else on. Change. Style applied. Style sheet really. One style applied. What is this? What is style applied? Style editor. Okay. Style sheets. Style sheets. One document loaded. Add actor for each style sheet and send an event notifying of the load. Creates a new style sheet in the document with given text. Let's try the current style sheet. Document load. Interesting. Dynamically, so let's dynamically add a style sheet. There's got to be like some hacky script to do it. Create style sheet. Adding style sheets. Here we go. No, I'm talking about dynamically MDN. That's not exactly what I meant either. Well, F it. Alright, we'll go with this approach. So like, what can I do as an example? Guess I could run like a little server. Okay, vim index.html. I know this is probably not exactly HTML5 compliant, but bear with me. Body, whoops, body. I'm the outer document. So we'll probably want to do an iframe. Source equals inner. Okay, and then I want to do like link rel equals style sheet type equals text CSS, and then href equals first, and then I think I can do single close like that. Okay. And so touch inner .html, touch first.css, touch second.css, touch script.js. So what do I want to do? Script source equals script.js. Type. I don't know if you need that anymore. But script.js, what I'm going to do is create an element there, and then I'll call it second.css. And first.css will have the body background color set to yellow. And then second.css will have h1's color set to blue. Or how about red? That's going to look grand. And then inner, what do I want to do here? Oh, because I want to test like nested. Whoops. Head. Body. I'm going to want to test like subframes and stuff. And this might be one way of doing it. Inner. Winner, inner frame. Okay, so simple server. We'll go to 8,000. So something went wrong with the scripting. Script wasn't even executed. Why is that? I had this problem yesterday. Index.html. Script.js, right? It's like not loading it. Maybe do I have to do it? Maybe I have to do it up here. Maybe that's what it wants. And then I'm gonna have to change document or add event listener content loaded. Whoop. All right. Do I have the script? The script's in there. Do I have any source? Whoops, and I have some bad syntax. That's the problem. Yeah, I need to close my tag. Or close my parens. Great. Okay, so the script was added. Now, what does the style editor think? So it sees both of them. And it sees that a second one was added. Interesting. What if I add that second style sheet after a delay? So set timeout. Let's add it after 5 seconds. Let's see. 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it doesn't see it. That's a thing. So dynamically added style sheets are not a thing like that are loaded or injected long after the style editor has been loaded up. It doesn't know how to deal with them. It can't view them. And it would if it used like the style sheet added event, but it doesn't. I wonder why that is, because style API is needed by DevTools. I wonder if the style sheet editor ever it's client style editor hlog. No, nothing. All right. Well, I'll ask style editor UI JSN. Is that what it's called? Style editor UI. Style sheet editor. Let's do this one. Except that this is on the client side. I think I need actually the server side. Style sheet, style editor. Yeah. Log. It's like a way to follow, I think. But I don't know what it is. I need to like go and see the base. And then files. Style sheets. That's interesting. Styles. Style. What's style sheets? It's just remote access to the style sheets. Should list sheet. Maybe style sheet added was never actually used. Interesting. Who would I ask about that? Or maybe I can browse DevTools bugs. DevTools. Developer tools. Style editor. Dynamic. Cannot see edit styles added by add-ons. Style editor should reload the list when style sheets are added, removed, or changed. Yeah, that might be it. Whenever style sheets are added, removed, or changed, style editor should react and see the new list content. Rule view. Update matching collection style sheets are created, loaded. And here's a patch that someone wrote but it never landed. Style sheet dash added. What is that? Sounds like exactly what we want, but where does it come from? Fired whenever a new style sheet is added to the document. And how does it work? On style sheet added. Okay, and what calls that? Yeah, that's okay. It's using the style sheet added. Yeah, this is the thing. This never landed. I don't know why it hasn't landed. What's the provenance of this bug? Long in the tooth. Not too long though. Just kind of like died out. I was wondering if the event's being fired. Let's see that. Okay. Interesting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it so that the style sheet, that flag that fires these events, the Chrome, style sheet change events enabled flag, is always true for every document. And I'm going to see whether or not that totally causes regressions, performance regressions. I suspect it will, but you never know. Maybe we'll be lucky and things will have changed in the meantime. Before I do that, though, I wanted to check one more thing. Maybe if I can see how the events, since Chrome notifications when style sheets are added and removed. It is an async DOM event, okay. And we do dispatch it to, yeah. Okay. Oh. Alrighty. So let's make it so that those things always fire. And then we're going to see if we regress Dremeo and TP5. I'll just run all of the Talos tests. I'll do a comparison between the two. So what I'll do, I'm pretty sure I'm on inbound right now, and inbound was this one. It's always a bit tricky inbound because like you might push a thing to inbound, or you might pull from inbound and you might have something broken because sometimes broken things get pushed to inbound. So I want to make sure that everything's going okay on inbound with the most recent push, or the push that I'd put in. There are a little bit of oranges, but I don't think they're related to me. What is this? Hope I didn't cause that. I'm gonna re-trigger that. Oh, excuse me. I type in my password. Okay. Well, I'm gonna assume it's just fine. All of the Talus tests appear to be running just fine. Talus and Talus E10S. I'll run it on all three platforms. And yeah, we're going to be looking at Dremio CSS, and we're also going to be looking at the TP tests. But I'll run all of them anyways. So, good. This will be our baseline. Push to try. Baseline. And then what do I want? I want opt only. I want Linux 64, Mac OS X, Win32. I won't do 64 right now because we're not shipping that just yet. But we soon will be. But man, look at the backlog. I don't think it's important for me to test for the regression on 64 just yet. And I will do all Talos tests. And that's it. That should be good enough. So do that. This push to try HG extension, very handy. Before I would have had to have used, or I would have used mercurial queues to like create a quick revision on top of the tree, and then have put the try chooser syntax in there, and then pop off that that commit. But no longer. Push to try is a great extension. Excuse me. How are we doing on time? It's 1:57. I hope we're going to get a little bit further. So the other thing, so now I need to modify the tree so that the document is always firing those events. And when can I do that? How can I do that? There's like a, yeah, do. I don't know why this was in a do while false. Is that for like easy breaking? I don't even see any breakpoints in here. Alright. Well, let's see. So he does it. Oh, he added the Chrome only attribute down here, and then controlled through Chrome. Style sheet events are enabled. Oh, that's when it breaks. Okay. So this is an NS document. So that's where we will make our change. And what was this do style sheet notification? Here. Huh. Where? What? I was expecting. Okay, the code has changed somewhat. Maybe we're no longer checking for those. Maybe we do get those events. I don't think we do. Document, notify observers, and then, oh, here we go. Here's where we check it. If style sheet change events enabled. I see. And where is that defined? go. So I'm going to have this always return true. That's in NSI document.h. That will be our change. And that shouldn't have any problems building, but I'll build it anyways, just to see. Build DOM base. Now, because I modified a header, it's possible a bunch of things probably need to be rebuilt. But if this probably won't link properly, but if it does, or even if it doesn't, I think I can just push this to try. I should have gotten the URL for the thing I'm pushing. So that's there. So baseline, that's the push for the baseline. I think it's fine. I don't think pushing anymore is. I think our building anymore is worth it. I think it's a waste of time. So always fire style sheet events, change events. Wait, what? Oh. Right, there are a bunch of untracked things. It was probably just warning me that there were like changed files, and then it did HG status and happened to dump out a bunch of untracked files while it was at it. Thank you, push to try. I know you're trying to be helpful. And then, like, once that's working, we can do a comparison once we get the, yeah, here we go. So this is the push. So always fire events. You know what I should have done? I think try chooser to compare. We need 5 triggers. Do you want to retrigger 5? I should have done that. And that way, I'll retrigger them 5 times each. Oh well. I'll do it. Well, this. What does one do in this case? Is it worth stopping and re-pushing? Yes, I think it is. Let's cancel these, and then we'll re-push with that special flag. So, cancel. And cancel the other build. Stop the presses. We got it all wrong. Stop. Well, that's good. I mean, most of the jobs were just queued anyways. So, we've canceled the jobs. Let's do this again. We still have the thing applied. But this time, we'll also say rebuild Taos 5. And I'm going to probably see a bunch of HG status spew. I'm not going to worry about it. I can tell based on, I think it's this. Yeah, the right thing was pushed. Okay, so now that as soon as we have these tests underway, what can we do? Well, maybe we should investigate alternatives. Maybe we should prepare ourselves for disappointment. Because if there is no disappointment, then it's just grunt work. We're gonna be in fine shape. But if it turns out that there is a regression whenever we fire those events, well, then we have to find an alternative solution, and or we have to find a way to not regress somehow. I don't know what we're gonna do, but let's let's assume for a second that it regresses performance and there's nothing we can do to make the performance better. So we have to find some other solution, and we'll evaluate other solutions. Here's the baseline. Whoop. Didn't want to paste that. Wanted to paste this thing. Yeah. Okay. So with those off to the races, what are our alternative solutions? I can come up with some pretty bad ideas. And maybe some good ideas will come out of it. Okay, here's a bad idea. Bad idea. Poll the content process for the style sheets. This would be pretty bad. This wouldn't be amazing for performance, since we'd be scheduling like some DOM operations every poll, and this would scale linearly per tab. Okay. And then now that we have those, then we can like put together our comparison URL for later. Sorry, its baseline is this, and then the new revision will be this. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I guess I didn't really need the baseline push because it was just whatever was already on inbound. But F it. Okay. So any other ideas I can come up with? Maybe there are some good ones amongst the bad ones. Well, there must be another part of Gecko must be informed when a style sheet is added, because we update the style and repaint. So something must know about it. Can we hook into that? So whenever a style sheet is added, what happens? Oh, interesting. We fire some observer notifications. Style sheet applicable state changed. What does that mean? For a document. Notify style sheet applicable state changed in set style sheet applicable state. I guess that only happens under certain circumstances. Okay. Notify style sheet added. We notify some observers here. That's before we fire the style sheet added event. What is this thing? Notify observers. What is that thing? There's some array on the document, an NSI document observer. What's an NSI document observer? Something tells me that I can't use this though from JavaScript. Otherwise, why would DevTools have needed those style sheet added and removed events? It's a mutation observer. Well, that's an idea. I could add a mutation observer of some kind. To every content document? That sounds really bad. That sounds like a great way to slow down the browser. Yeah, I don't think this is implementable from JavaScript. This looks like a native, this is a no script XPCOM interface, I suspect. SI document observer. Stub document observer. So I have a feeling that the document observer interface is used by the pres shell, the presentation shell, to determine whether or not, to hear about style sheets being added or removed, so it knows knows when to repaint. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think there's a way for a document observer to be implemented in JavaScript, which is a pain. So who adds the observer? Who calls this? This is going to get a huge bunch of hits, I'll bet. Oh, document observer. Observer. I want like doc. Document. Content sync. So things down in C++ land. NSDOM style sheet list. Also listens for, of course it will listen for things like style sheet added. Mutation Observer. What is this thing? Jump to definition of the style sheet. Stub document observer. So that must be like a base implementation. Yeah, it's all very internal to Gecko. There's not a great way to expose it to where I eventually need it, which is JavaScript land. Beyond like the style sheet added or remove events that were already fired. Those events are really kind of my only hope for this tactic, I think. At least in terms of like what we've currently got for built-in support. But even if I could like do anything with Gecko, that's exactly how I would do it. Is I would like add those events. So if those events are causing regressions, might be interested in knowing why. I might be interested in knowing why. And how much of a regression. And like, do we care? Because perhaps we're dynamically added style sheets, I would imagine, or removed style sheets are probably not too common. So I wonder if we're firing those style sheet added events even whenever like if the page is loaded and its style sheets are like defined in there, if we're firing style sheet added every time, like past the page load or before, like we're firing the event once for each style sheet even while the page is loading, which is less useful because you can listen for the DOM content loaded and check the style sheets then. It's what we want is like style sheets that are added or removed after DOM content loaded. So that's an idea. Is it possible that the style sheet events are being fired before DOM content loaded is finished? If so, might be able to reduce the overhead by not firing those events until the page has been loaded, as style sheet added is really, style sheet events are really only interesting after the page load. So let's take a look at this again. Notify style sheet added. When is that fired? In add style sheet, and update style sheets, and insert style sheet at, and add additional style sheet. So a cheap test is that I will cheap test. I will build, and in the background, in tab content, I'm going to do this thing where init we will add an event listener, style sheet added, this, content document, and we're going to enable the event. Document, we're going to set the enabled true and in handle event, or maybe I'll just do this. Dump new style sheet added, and then the event, the style sheet event, is actually very interesting. It has a number of things on it that we'll probably find useful. Where were those style sheets? Events. I got lost. Back to my notes. This one. Okay. Enable factor instance. So we'll take a look at that. DOM CSS style sheet. We're creating a DOM event. Set trusted async DOM event. Hey, what's up, Jalen? There's Jalen. He was just giving me the big thumbs up. DOM style sheet added event. That is probably what we're interested in. What is that thing? What? No results. So, probably has changed recently. Whoop. Style sheet and a style sheet change event. That's what we want to know about. What's a style sheet change event? .h. .webideal? Yeah. So it has the style sheet on it, and whether or not it's a document sheet. Okay, great. So that's what I wanted. So the style sheet added e.style sheet dot title e.style sheet dot ref. Okay. Whoop. Keyboard. Keyboard. All right. That should do the job. I think. Page submitted. I should also add an event listener. DOM content loaded. And where are we in building? This might take a while. I modified a header that's used commonly throughout Gecko, and so our build system probably thinks that everything needs to be rebuilt. So we might have some hope here. We might have some hope if we can show that some overhead can be removed from these events. If I can make them more efficient, then I can use those. And then making this menu item work will be a piece of cake. Because, like, if this is true, then the solution is simple. It is pretty straightforward. As laid out in 2, just scan the top level document and then subframes recursively for appropriate style sheets when the DOM has finished loading, and then send those up to the parent. And then anytime style sheet added or style sheet removed, update the list and send it up to the parent. Alternatively, instead of updating the list, just do the removal addition to the cache. When the parent needs to open the page style menu pop-up, just read the cache. Read synchronously from the cache. Bob's your uncle. So that's kind of the plan. That's to me the best way forward here. And I'd really like to know whether or not, like, I'd like to cap this episode off finding out whether or not we do fire those events. Because what my plan is, once I have this build done, is to reuse that CSS test thing I just did, and then I'll see if an event is fired for this style sheet as well as the second style sheet 5 seconds later. And if so, well, I think there's some efficiency work we can do if I can clear it with the DOM people. Which should be pretty, like, this style sheet add and style sheet remove stuff is not like web API stuff in that, like, it's not like there are websites relying on it, since it's like a browser Chrome only event. So I should feel pretty safe modifying it, monkeying around with it. So what do we got? I'm gonna play a quick sound effect.
That's right! Hi-oh! What happened?
And until this build is done, until we know for certain, we can't really proceed, or like we could proceed with other plans, but this feels most promising.
I can't do my work!
Come on.
I can't do my work! What happened?
So, hopefully we'll be done soon. So maybe we should shelve that. We've got some good notes in here. In the meantime, is there something else I can do useful with my time? I'm going to close these tabs. I've accumulated 40 tabs. And maybe we can stick a quick code review at the end of this episode. I have a number of outstanding reviews. Oh, I have a neat info I should probably clear today. I have a number of Thunderbird related reviews that I just have not gotten around to in a long time. Like, this one's been waiting for almost a year, and that's crazy. That's bad of me. But the problem is I got bogged down in wedding planning and then just fell further and further behind. So while I'm waiting for that build to finish, I need infoed myself on this bug because Andrew Overhold actually asked me to look into this and maybe consult on it a little bit. And I've crashed all my tabs, but I will submit a crash report. Curious to know what that crash was. Let's take a look at what he's talking about. Oh my, these are big patches. In the content parent, he wants to find the most recent open window. Interesting. Okay, just some kind of like handy static in the content parent for finding the most recent browser window. Okay. And this is largely copied from the tab parent receive create window code. Like, what? So he's kind of... It's all quite intense. All quite intense. And so his... what's the issue he's dealing with? If a service worker as raised in this, we will need to deal with the different scenarios independently. So for the desktop one, I have no idea what the setup in Firefox OS looks like. Sorry, it's not clear to me. Open window is a sensible operation there. For their front end, what is this? What is this window open thing? Some people have... Here. Open window. Subtracting gecko. Something about... Oh. Hup. Hup. Give a token to the service worker when the notification click event runs. The end of wait until that token will be revoked. While the event is running, one focus or open window will be allowed. I think I need to understand more about what this service worker open window is trying to do. I want like a use case. That they can post message to. Here. Service workers. Working draft. Open window. Run these steps to their equivalent. I think I need to talk to this fella, Catalan B, to figure out what exactly we want to do here, because I'm not entirely sure. That sounds very interesting. Um, it sounds like a service worker wants to be able to open a window, and they want to know how best to do it. Um, I don't know why they're having to like. There's no tab context. Dispatch open window to the parent. Maybe I need to look at that next. How does that occur? Service worker. For content process. Content child. So they're cloning a lot of the stuff that we had done for, oh boy, for tab child. Where does service worker receive create window sucks? That is funny. Content process manager. Blah da dee blah. Yo, sync message. Yep. What is this business? Content child, tab child, content parent, window watcher. Like, I don't really understand. I need to ask Catalan B what he's doing. Hey, our build's almost done. Okay, then we can get our answer, and then I'm gonna cap the episode, and then I'm gonna probably go talk to Catalan B about what they're trying to do.
Oh, whoa, 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 whoa.
Come on, we're running out of time. I love that Mario stuff. Okay. I don't care about this thing. Go away. Go away. Okay. So, are we running with E10S? Let's find out. Let's go to watch people code. Our watch people code. Yes, we are running with E10S. Great. And DOM content load fired. Interesting. We didn't see the style sheet added events. Style sheet change events enabled. Maybe it's because the content changed. Like, like what if document dot head style? What's in here? Style. What if we get rid of this? Or style sheet added, so I want to add a new one, but I'll delete this node, then I will add the node. I don't even remember what node I deleted. There we go. New tab.css. I don't see that event firing. The dealio. Why is that? Well, I can attach my debugger and find out. Let's see if we would have even tried. Maybe that's what we'll do. Instead of doing this fancy dancy logging, we'll just go down into... We'll go down and check it out in the debugger. 65697. Oh wait, no, I want the content process. I think. Yeah. Which would be 65704. Alright, we are attached, and then I want to see about this document style rule added, and there's like style sheet added. I want style sheet added. Notify style sheet added. Okay. So I will inspect. Oop. Somehow I hit a breakpoint here and load sheet. Okay. Great. Oh, probably for this like element for the dev tools. I don't care about that. I care about removing this sheet here. Which one? Style sheet. Yes, I'm going to remove this one. I'm going to re-add it. There we go. So we did notify style sheet added. So we're in here, and do we do this? We don't. But I can actually do my test to determine whether or not we fire on load. So I'll just reload the page. And I think we do. Style sheet added. Yeah. So maybe there's, okay, so that's useful information. It appears as if we're firing style sheet added events while the DOM is still loading, which might be hampering performance. Perhaps style sheet added should only fire. So I already mentioned that. Okay. So let's see if there's a performance regression on Dromeo and TP5, and if so, let's try to when always firing the events, and if so, let's try to only fire style sheet added when the DOM has finished loading, and see if that addresses it. If so, then the solution is pretty straightforward. Okay, so we did some good investigations here. I think we actually got some useful information. We've got an experiment on the way. Got some good data. I think we actually moved forward quite a bit. Let's see how our try builds are doing. I don't imagine they'd be too far along, but we'll check. Yeah, still building and still building. So we'll hopefully know soon. If you're interested in following along with this bug, because I'll probably keep working on it before the next episode. So if you are curious to know where I'm getting to, I'm just going to keep adding stuff in the notes. So like keep following along in the notes. There's a link in the ether. There's a link in the agenda to these notes. Additionally, I'll probably be posting potential updates in the bug. That's bug 1141041. I mean, I'll eventually be posting some kind of patch or solution in there in order to close this thing out. So if that's the thing that interests you, maybe check this bug out. Folks, I think I'm going to call it. Thank you so much for watching episode 28 of The Joy of Coding. It's been a pleasure coding in front of you today. I don't think there's anything else I wanted to mention. I think Ricardo said he was going to stream today for Hour of Design, but then he was having some trouble with his OBS, copy of OBS. So let me just quickly check to see whether or not he was able to get his event set up. No, I don't see one. I do not see one. I do not see one. So hopefully he'll have one soon. Unless schedule a live stream. When's this supposed to happen? It's supposed to happen last week. Okay, well, so he's got some live streams that you should check out. If you go back to the agenda, there's a link to all of the Hour of Design stuff that Ricardo's been up to. And I think that's all of the live coding news I've got. But if you are in the Mozilla community and you are hacking on stuff, Mozilla related, and that could be anything from like down in the guts of the DOM all the way to maybe you're writing service worker stuff for the new tab page, or maybe you're I don't know, maybe you're writing tooling to make our lives easier, developer lives easier, or maybe you're doing analytics or bug triage or QA or any of these things. Maybe you're doing design like Ricardo. If any of these things are what you're doing and you want to live stream it, I highly recommend it. It's a great way to sort of connect with our community, show them what we're doing, show everyone what it is that we do here at Mozilla and how we do it. So I highly recommend it. If that's interesting to you, you should come talk to me or Richard in the #livehacking channel in IRC, and we can get you connected. We can tell you all the things you need to do in order to live stream. And I think that's all I'm going to say on that matter. Thank you again so much for watching episode 28 of The Joy of Coding. Have yourself a great week. I'll see you next week.
The joy of coding.
Bye.